I'm just going to hold this mic. Thanks everyone for coming. Ooh. We are super excited for our March monthly meeting. And this meeting is being sponsored by NV5. So I hope everyone is enjoying their lunch. Chrissy, do you want to come and do your presence remarks?
Just like that. All right. Thank you, Minnie. Welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good morning. I hope you're enjoying your lunch. Welcome to our March meeting today, and thank you, Bing, for organizing the meeting, and thank you, Kim Lee Horn, for hosting the meeting here. I hope you didn't have much trouble to find this building, but anyways, welcome, and I hope your body clock is adjusting to the time change because I am struggling. My sleep cycle is messed up, so I woke up like 1:10 last night. I couldn't go back to sleep. So yeah, if I look a little bit sleepy, maybe that's why. All right, so I just wanted to recognize that last Saturday, March 8th, was International Women's Day. I was at Georgia Tech for some alumni event, and we had a great panel discussion, but I just brought some one of the quote that I love here. This is by Florence Nightingale, and if you can read there, but rather 10 times die in the surf, heralding the way to a new world, than stand idly on the shore. I mean, I really like it. Hopefully you like it too. All right, so I was thinking that I can share, maybe in the beginning of each monthly meeting, I can have maybe 3 minutes that I can share something about, book I've read that I really like that I want to share with you guys, or a podcast, or some things like that. So this month, I was thinking that I'll share with this book. How many of you know the word? This is not English. Does anyone know this word? Like from Northern Europe? Oh, you know like what it means? Yeah, can anyone share what that means? Yeah, there's no word in English, I think. Okay. All right. So this book is written by the CEO of the Happiness Research Institute in Denmark. How cool is that? So this person does research about when people feel happiness and how do we prioritize our wellness and well-being. And I recommend this book. I mean, this is a very small little book, but it talks about their mentality. That the Hege, they call it like a Hege. It's very, very hard to pronounce, but that is something about adopting an alternative mindset and a positive attitude to life. And Northern Europe is so cold, and in the summer they only have an hour of daylight, and it's very hard to feel happy all the time. But Danish people are known as the happiest people in the world. So I mean that's why they have this institute in Denmark. And it's about togetherness and coziness. Maybe you can translate it to cozy or together as Hege. But it's making time for your family and friends, and having a regular catch-ups, usually combined with food, and around the fireplaces and with candles. It's like that. It's outside. It's stormy outside, but you're in a warm place with a good people, small group of people. So I just wanted to share, I mean, their mindset is that there's no such thing as bad weather, just the wrong clothes. That's your mindset is different, and you have a very positive attitude to life. So I really, really like this. And reconnecting with the nature is really important. Out for a walk and never sad. That's a direct translation in their words. And by doing that, you can get a greater sense of mindfulness, less depression, anxiety, increasing feeling of self-worth, optimism, and lowering stress. So I hope if some people are interested, it's not very long, and maybe you can read it pretty quickly. So with that, I just want to recap some of the events we had. We had a great success in Greenville in last Sunday and Monday in a workshop. I heard so many great things about the conference, group projects, the technical sessions. Bike tour and the social activities that they had. So I hope a lot of you guys were there. I missed it, unfortunately. But thank you, Elizabeth and Rahul, for their leadership. Do I see Elizabeth and Rahul? Probably, they're probably not here. And all the committee members that helped with the conference. So thank you. I just wanted to give a big applause for everyone. All right. We also had a social activity thanks to Nate and Sam. This was in Sandy Springs. This was a small group, but we had a trivia and we had fun chatting. Right. My last slide here is that this is just to save the dates. So summer seminar is coming up in like 4 months, like a little over 4 months. Jared Wall, he just sent us the logo, the new logo, and the topic. Our theme will be getting into focus. So just save the date. If you haven't booked your room, and just be hurry because the rooms are getting sold out. With that, I'm gonna hand it back to Bing, and thank you.
Thanks, Christy. Okay, so our upcoming monthly meetings, our next meeting will be on April 17th at Georgia Tech in the Mason Building, and the topic will be student research presentations, so we're super excited about that. And then our May monthly meeting is gonna be a joint meeting with ITS Georgia, and we are finalizing the date and venue and speaker for that one. For our committee updates, first is SDITE. I'm just going to make a quick update about the officer elections. So the current SDITE officer elections close on March 28th. And we have 2 people that are running for, I just want to make sure I get this right. 2 people that are running for secretary treasurer. The candidates are Jody Peace from Georgia ITE and Eric Lamb from NC North Carolina, section ITE. And then Jody, did you want to give an update on the annual meeting? Oh, there's it. Okay.
So the annual meeting, district annual meeting is actually joint with Missouri Valley. So it should be a pretty big meeting. It's in Memphis next month, April 13th through 16th. So I think early registration in later. Yeah, it's sometime pretty soon. So go ahead and make your plans. All that kind of fun stuff. Also, the Student Leadership Summit is going to be joint with the annual meeting this year. So one event, so there should be a lot of students there. So if you are looking for entry-level candidates, if your company is, it's a great place to show good developing.
Thanks, Jody. And I think we're all looking for some entry-level candidates. And then Ron, did you want to give an update about the traffic bowl?
Monday, March 31st, there will be a professionals versus students mock traffic bowl helping prepare for Southern District Identity Festival. So we don't have spots booked yet, so if you want to help them prepare, they try to beat them Monday, March 31st, or come watch them against them. That's all for traffic bowl, but other updates is we're looking to do road safety audit at each of the student chapters as well at each of the college campuses. We've got a date set in Statesboro for August 17th, and we're going to do one on Georgia Tech campus and one by KSC campus as well. We're not going to plan around you guys, but we would love it if you all can join the students.
Thanks, Ron. Okay, engineering outreach. I think Andrew couldn't make it to the meeting. Okay. So just a quick update for engineering outreach. We're looking for volunteers for the Math Count State competition. That's going to be this coming, or in 2 Mondays. And then we're also looking for volunteers for the Introduce a Girl to Engineering Day. That's Saturday, April 19th. And we would like if you guys could get your companies to register for their own tables at the events if they haven't already. And also, we're looking for volunteers to staff the Georgia ITE table as well. And if you have questions about that, feel free to contact Andrew. Sam, did you want to give an update on the STEAM camp?
STEAM camp is moving forward. So again, it's on October 13th. We just have an install for sponsorships. If you have any questions regarding that, just let me know. We're doing 3 sponsorships this year. There's one breakout sponsorship that I think has already been assigned. We still have, we're still
Thanks, Sam. For our safety committee update, I don't think Sarah or Kelly could join us today, but their first committee meeting is tentatively scheduled for March 28th, which is a Friday. So if you would like to be on the invite list, please feel free to just reach out to Sarah or Kelly. Social and activities. I think Sam, oh, there you are.
So, had a great time, like you said, last month on trivia. This coming month will be on Wednesday, March 26th, at our third spot. It's a place I recommended, well, my people like to talk about our workshop a week ago. So if you don't know what it is, it's a game, a cornhole, arcade, board game, whatever you want there. They have food fixings as well. They'll be at 5:30 p.m. to get 3 hours of games to do in there. The cost is $20 per person. It is 21 up only, so set as well. And you could also reserve a table, so if we're actually if you can be coordinate all both of us early by next Thursday, that'd be great.
Thanks, Sam. Yes, 21 and up only, so make sure you're older than 21, Sean Coleman. Okay, for our young members committee update, I don't think Elizabeth or Raul could join us today, so they have a lot of fun events coming up. They have a social at Monday Night Garage. Oh, you're here, yay, okay. Sorry, Elizabeth. No, you can make it, you can make it.
Yeah, so to what Ron mentioned, we'll be doing that off traffic bowl. It will be just down the street at the DOT office, right after the church. That's open to all members, so we want to preserve the way I mentioned. Monday after the Georgia IP overall social, we'll be doing a member social at Monday Night Garage, which is on the west side of town, from 6 to 8. We have in April events also planned that networking webinar that was in February and on April 9th. The registration is free, is open on the website, and then we're going to do a post on Saturday, April 26th. And then for the third year in a row, we're also doing the golf challenge. So if you're not member and interested, golf is all over the sun. And then this year we're going to do our study groups for like each week all of the water days in person. And then we have the first one is the draft pop.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Okay, and then Andra isn't here to do the host committee door giveaway, but Kayla will do it for us. For those of you guys who missed our February meeting this year, we're gonna do a giveaway raffle for one free meeting if you've pre-registered. So,
If I call your name, please raise your hand so I can bring you the ticket and check my Coleman names. So John Boland.
yay. So make sure to pre-register for the meetings, and we had a few vendors reach out to say that they might want to provide some fun prizes to give away for the pre-registration as well. This is just a save the date for all of our upcoming events. We have a lot of events through March and April, and we hope to see you guys all there. And then Erica is gonna come and do our sponsor presentation.
Thank you. So most of you know John Karnowski, who is our National Services Director for NV5 for Traffic Services. He was unable to attend the meeting today. He's out this week, so he asked me to fill in. I'm the Regional Director of Traffic Services for Tennessee and Georgia. I actually live in Tennessee, so I try to come down once a month, so I'm probably a new face to a lot of you. A little bit about me, I have over 20 years of traffic and transportation planning experience. I've lived and worked in about 8 states, including Florida, of course, Georgia, and Alaska, which was an interesting one because they have more planes than cars. Prior to taking on this role in 2023, I was the traffic engineering manager for Amazon. and that was also an interesting role. And with me today from our office, we have Victoria Gabitis. I'm going to say hello. Aaron Karnowski. We're trying to spread out so we can intermingle. Josh Pruitt, and then April King. So NV5, a lot of people aren't familiar with our company. We're pretty large, 5,000 worldwide. We provide a wide range of services. I won't go through them all, but basically anything outside, inside of a building we can help with. Our traffic services department is not just Georgia. We also have offices in North Carolina, New Mexico, and California. And from that group, we're licensed in 49 states. We also have somebody who's licensed in Canada and Australia. Let's see, our traffic services include traditional traffic impact studies, as well as traffic due diligence studies. We prepare, that's the wrong slide, operational studies, safety studies, transportation planning, and we also work as advisors to our clients, which include private sector developers, campuses, property owners, and also public sector, state, cities, counties, MPOs. Yes, that's a little bit about NV5. If you guys have any questions, find one of us. We'd be happy to work with you, and thank you for allowing us to sponsor.
Thank you, Erica and NV5 for sponsoring. So our speaker today needs no introduction. SueAnn Decker has over 20 years of experience in a variety of roles for the Georgia DOT, including traffic design, project management, program management, pre-construction, and now planning. A graduate from Auburn University with a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering, she joined the department in District 3 and then moved to the TMC District 1 and now to the GO. SueAnn is currently the Assistant Director for Strategic and Systems Planning, and she is a great mentor and leader to women in the industry. And one of my favorite pieces of wisdom from SueAnn is that you don't need everyone to like you, but you do need everyone to respect you. Please join me in welcoming SueAnn Decker.
I don't need the mic.
You don't want the mic? You don't have to use the mic. I'll turn it off.
Jerry got up and shut the door before I got up here because he knows I don't need the mic. Can you hear me?
No, they have a mic. Their mic is separate than this mic. Yeah. So they can hear her. You want to use the mic?
I'm gonna have microphone bully put on this.
Seriously, you should. Man, God, I'm getting heckled already. I haven't even started. Don't start.
Do you want to use the mic?
I mean, I can
Okay.
if you want me to.
It's totally up to you.
Whatever.
Okay.
I mean, we'll make you happy. Does this make you happy now? All right, so, hi. It's good to be back in front of this crowd. It's like a feeling of coming home, seeing all my traffic folks. I've told my DOT folks a long time, you could take the girl out of traffic, but you can't take the traffic out of the girl. So it's still my first love. But I am the Assistant Director of Planning now for Strategic and Systems Planning. And we have a lot of stuff going on in the planning office. Ms. Janine Miller, who is the Director of Planning, also over CERTA, Greta, and the ATL. She's kind of busy, just a little bit. So one thing that she's done is a really good job of is breaking down barriers. So we'll talk about that earlier, but super excited to work for her. I've never worked for an executive like her before. It's been a huge learning experience. But one thing that I have been able to do with her job is come in and make some processes that we have run better. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today is some of the changes that we've made in the past 18 months or so to TA, which is your Transportation Alternatives Program, CMAC, some of our processes, and certainly our partnerships. For the TA program, we have decided that we will do our, Janine hates the word, call for projects, so funding opportunity, in January of every year. This is to kind of put us on a timeline, have all of our potential applicants you know, they know when it's gonna come out, they know what we're looking for, you know, and, just to kind of get us at the Office of Planning, on the schedule. It still requires a 20% non-federal match, except with HSIP. That's something that's new in IIJA for now. If Donald Trump doesn't axe that too. He's made so many things change, it's made my head spin regardless of politics. It's been a whirlwind since he hit office. So with HSIP funds, we can actually partner together, and we'll get into that partnering. Also, additionally, with the partnering with CERTA, which is the GTIB, which is the Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank, is putting up the 20% match for some of our less than 5,000 population areas so that rural Georgia can be touched by these programs. You know, we all know that federal projects are super expensive. A lot of these small local governments submitted applications where PE is $125,000. Tee-hee-hee. We all wish, well, maybe y'all don't wish, but I wish that PE was only $125,000. Anyway, so they come prepared for one thing as far as, you know, I'm gonna match $125,000, and then they run for the hills when we tell them PE is gonna be 800 to $1 million, and they're like, I don't have the money for that, and so the projects wind up being canceled. It's not that we don't have needs, it's just that we don't have means, and Janine has been really, really amazing at looking at ways to find those means for those that don't have it. So you must be eligible for both TA and GTIB. You don't have to apply for both, though. If you apply for a TA, you apply a TA and your application is approved and you are less than 5,000, we will offer you that assistance. You could turn it down if you want to, but I don't know why you would turn down 100% funded PE phase, but hey, you know, you do you. If you want to learn more about the TA program, that's the website there. We still struggle to find less than 5,000 communities. So if you know these people, work with these people, please let them know that we have opportunities for funding, and especially for sidewalks, vulnerable road users, and things of that nature that qualifies for TA. If you want to know what all qualifies for TA, go to the website. CMAQ, we're also working on a new process for CMAQ funding. Mostly that has been handled by ARC, which has done a great job of handling the program. However, CMAQ funds are available to counties outside of ARC. And so with that, Georgia DOT wanted to sort of take that back and open it to the non-ARC counties. There will be another funding opportunity for those particular funds. Again, it's only in certain counties, and you still have to meet the CMAQ funding requirements. We are now opening that up to include your PE and right-of-way phases. It just used to be construction, but that's way too restrictive, and we want to be able to spend this money. So you still have to demonstrate that emissions benefit, and we still get FHWA approval on that. So there's more to come on that. There'll be a whole new process, and we're kind of rewriting a little chapter of the planning manual for this new CMAQ process. And with that, there's your map. All the orange counties are what's eligible for CMAQ. It's quite extensive. I don't know if we have it up on the website yet because we're still working on like a CMAQ type website. But when we get all of this rolled out, we will definitely have this information out there. For now, you can just email me and I can get somebody to send it to you. So those are two specific programs I wanted to talk to you about today. The second thing I wanted to talk to you about is current processes and the change in process and planning as a whole. Our current process, which many of you know, especially if you've worked in the department, an issue is identified by, you're a citizen, maybe a district, a traffic study, a pool of data from the TMC office. And then it's sort of analyzed, right? What's the problem here? What's the core issue? What's the solution? And then how do we fund it? So you've looked at your intersection. Yep, needs a roundabout. Roundabouts are safety. Safety equals TMC. Hey, Alan, I need some money, right? So you go, you're eligible, you got a favorable BC, and you sit there and you go, okay, great. When can I get funding? And Alan goes, it's a great project. We'll do it in 2030. And you go, wait. And then what happened, right? You didn't get the money, right? So you get stuck over here, right? So you're in the program somewhere. You're still loading, still loading, still loading, still loading, darn it, we're still loading. And we have quite a healthy shelf of projects that need funding. So the new process, it's a top-down process. Your issue is identified either by the driver, the district, the study, the NPO, whatever. We look at the course problem and the solution. Again, it's a safety issue. It's a roundabout. So we check that roundabout for not just safety, right? Safety may be the issue, but roundabouts also fall under TA, carbon reduction, CMAQ, other fund sources. So where does this fit? What does it all qualify for? So we have now a funding matrix where we take our carbon reduction strategy, our requirements for TA, requirements for CMAQ, requirements for carbon reduction, all that stuff, and we run our project scope through the gamut, and we identify every single fund source that project could potentially be eligible for. So then, after we've determined eligibility, we put you on notice, right? We're going to get you started some kind of way, right? We may start you with carbon reduction money, okay? Especially if you're in a less than 5,000 population. The carbon reduction program has a surplus of money there. Less than 5,000, again, a hard place to spend money. So now we've got this. So if Alan has a, state route to state route, always stop, state route that's, two state routes that are always stop that don't function very well or that are experiencing crashes, and roundabout seems to be a better solution. It's in the middle of nowhere, so it doesn't really meet your BC because the ADT is not really high enough to cause that many crashes, but enough to make the locals concerned, your client concerned. Well, what do you do with it? Less than 5,000 carbon reduction, maybe? Less than 5,000 TA, is there a school nearby? Senior centers? Library? Let's talk about it. So then you come through us now and you get tagged for all these different colors of money. And what that happens is when Alan runs out of money, or when carbon reduction runs out of money, or TA runs out of money, we have these projects that go sitting on the shelf and they're like, well, you've run out of TA money. Instead of going, well, we'll get you next fiscal year, planning's gonna go back and look and say, okay, where do we have money? Okay, we do have money in 25 in carbon reduction. We've already checked it, it meets the eligibility. We're gonna move that fund code. We're gonna authorize that project. We're gonna go ahead and go to construction. So that's what we're doing. Instead of taking this all these asks and funneling down into one silo, we're going to start looking across the entire gamut. So that, in a nutshell, is what we're changing about how planning looks at projects. Our partnerships, like I told you, that's another thing that Janine's been very big on with the TMC. I'll tell you, I spent 21 years, almost 21 years at the department, and I never really met with planning. They're there, but it's kind of like Hawaii, they're over there. Not really like not part of the party, but they're there, Looks like fun. Might go visit, but not really there. So that's what we've been doing. We've been breaking down silos, and Janine started that back when I was in District 1, and I learned a lot about planning just from our interaction. So we interact with the districts once a month. We started setting up regular meetings with the TMC to talk about safety, ops, bike ped, the rural plan, vulnerable road users. Where are we? We talked about the old safe routes to school projects. I'm sure some of y'all around here remember that. Well, you couldn't buy right away with that program, and it really struggled in its inception. But guess what I can do with TA? Your rural, your rural schools where kids are walking in the street trying to get to school, where there are no sidewalks, there are no RFBs, there's no lighting. We have a way now. And at least, if nothing else, this is what I tell them, come to me, let's put together a scoping, let's see what's viable, let's see how much it costs, let's see what we can do. Nobody wants to walk away from a project, but, I gotta know what we're dealing with, right? And I don't know if y'all know this, but sidewalk projects are hard to budget. There's all kinds of stuff under the ground. It seems like easy. You just pour some sidewalk and you're done, right? Simple, easy peasy lemon squeezy. I got a 1 mile sidewalk project that the concept's costing me like $800,000, and I'm like, stop. What happened? That hurts, right? So, you think they're easy, and we do our best in planning to try to forecast those costs out, but it's better to have the engineering costs. So we go into scoping, we know what we need, we know what we can do, we know how much it's gonna cost. I've talked about CERTA already and our coordination and partnership with GTIB. Also, if you are a local government and you submit your project for the Georgia Transportation Infrastructure Bank, we will be reviewing it in the Office of Planning as well. We help support them with the engineering part of the project. So it gets a little difficult because a lot of these are more economic development based. It's a new location road, so what do you want GDOT to say? Well, you're going to make it worse because there's no congestion or crashes right now. You're going to bring that. It's going to get bad. I don't know what you want me to say from an engineering standpoint on a new road. I talked about safe routes to schools, also safe routes to transit. That's something else that we've been looking at. I'm pretty sure they submitted their entire program for TA. Yay. I mean, I don't have $40 million sitting around, but okay. And then DNR. DNR is another one that we've been talking to, rails to trails, other trails, parks, and for the life of me, ADA accommodations. I know that folks that struggle with mobility still want to see these places, and I get that, but I cannot fathom how we are going to get a 2% slope up like Tallulah Gorge and things of that nature. It's going to be extremely, extremely challenging, but it'll be fun to see. So those are our partnerships. And I'm done. Hopefully I didn't put anybody to sleep. Questions, comments, insults, expletives? Yes.
Okay, we applied for right-of-way construction on a pedestrian project. When will we hear from our application?
Okay, so the question is about the timeline for TA application. So we started the call in January, it closed February 28th. We are currently reviewing the applications now. We got 90, which, yes, please help. I'm trying to get a task order together to get some consultants to help us. It's a lot. We had originally anticipated making award announcements in late April, early May, but there are 90 of them and like 2 of us. So, and I do other things other than TA. So we may wind up faltering a little bit, but the schedule that we're putting together will also be on TA's website, so you will know when you're going to hear back from us. I believe we plan to go to the TA committee in April. So after we come out of committee, we pretty well know where we're headed. Once we come out of TA committee, we then talk with GTIB about the projects that would qualify, and then CERTA then makes a decision on whether or not they want to participate in the funding of those projects. GTIB has told us no on a couple of projects like rails to trails. They're not really interested in something that goes off in the woods. They like their stuff to be more seen. So if it stays by the roadside, then GTIB seems to be more interested in participating. So, other questions? Yes.
In doing different applications for the different programs, there are always different criteria that went into that application. Are y'all doing sort of a pre-application and judging where we need to go so you know what information to provide in order to get funding? So if I think it's going to be a CMAQ, I'm going to do CMAQ
Sure.
data. I may not have a lot of safety data in there, but then you say, oh, there's safety, I got to redo it.
Okay, so the question would be if I submitted an application and I'm targeting a certain fund source and GDOT planning is looking at it and think it may be eligible for other fund sources, what does that look like? You would not have to apply again. That we don't want to go through that. I would call you up and I'd be like, Tom, how much money you need? I'm just kidding. I would, I would basically say, hey, Tom, let's say you submitted for TA. Right now, TA and then coming up CMAC are the only like funding opportunities we have right now. It's the only one we have process for. More to that, more general statewide to come. It's not ready yet for talking, but I'm sure I'll be back letting y'all know about that. But so let's say you put in for your TA roundabout, okay? And it's in the middle of a populated area, so you're planning to come up with your 20% match. You don't need GTIB. It's around schools, and we put it together, and the thing winds up being, for whatever reason, a $10 million roundabout that we can't fund with TA. Then I'm going to look to you and say, okay, well, you're in counties where you have access to carbon reduction and CMAC. So would you be interested in running a CMAC calculation, the one from ARC, the CMAC calculator, and demonstrating emissions benefit? Okay, so you do that, that's great. We put a package together, send it over to FHWA, we get approval. Yay. Typically, if you meet for CMAC, you also meet for carbon reduction, so bang, there you go. So now we've got 3 fund sources. If and when Alan ever gets some more money, I don't know, he doesn't know anybody who handles money. I mean, he's really got to get on that. When we give Alan more money, if you meet for safety, a good safety benefit, there you go. So now you're up to 4 different fund sources. And it really just gets down to brass tacks of what's the best way to fund that. Planning's actually working on some software they're having developed right now that should help us optimize and tell us just that information. It would be things like, it gets a little complicated, but it would be things like, hey, in 2025, if you don't use X amount of dollars of carbon reduction money, you're going to have to pay it back to the feds. So instead of doing that, why don't you fund Tom's roundabout? Yes, please, all day, every day, let's do that. Or I look at the shelf, what's on the shelf that's safety, that obviously has good BC, that benefits Georgia, and I go, hey, Alan, if you got 20% of that, I can put it over here and fund it this way, and we can do your federal 20% and my federal 80%, and boom, 100% federal funding for a project. I mean, who doesn't want that? I know I do. So that's the kind of stuff that we are talking about. That's why these partnerships are so very important, and trying to break an institutional way, a paradigm shift in the way people look at the projects and planning is going to be fun. But y'all know me. I like to stir the pot, I like to do fun stuff, change it all up just for funsies. So I'm excited about the opportunity. It is something that I feel like I'm good at, coming in and taking something and making it run better. I've had a couple of years of experience working for some people in program delivery, just saying, Yes.
Thank you for the very candid presentation. So, TA or transportation officers used to lease rentals, leasing programs, traffic planning. But prior to that, the applicant be not certified locally as a service project. So, doing and then the technician, they're working on this project, et cetera. On the website right now, we're
Just both good questions. So her first question is about LAP certification for TA and our prioritization process for both for TA. Yes, LAP certification is a recommendation, not a requirement. That was waived. I'm not really sure by who or when, but that requirement is waived. However, if you're not LAP certified, you cannot let the project. So then you would have to ask Georgia DOT to do it for you. And so if we're gonna let a project on your behalf, it's when we can get to it with our resources, you know, I mean, Albert Shelby over there in program delivery is not sitting around waiting on projects. And as you all know, we have a huge investment in transportation. We got 1.5 billion just this year. So we're already flooding the market. So there's that. If you're LAP certified, we just let you handle it. As for prioritization, we do have a way of prioritizing some projects. TA has been difficult to prioritize. The good news is that TA is sub-allocated by population. There's only X amount of dollars you can spend at ARC or in the, 50 to 200,000 population or 5 to 50,000 population or less than 5,000 population. So we have been targeting that less than 5,000 population, trying to get that money, the hardest to spend. We would have lost $19 million in that program this year. We were able to do our funding and opportunity, and we won't lapse that money, but we have another 21 that could lapse next fiscal year. And that call for that has already passed. So I think we were looking through our 90 projects, and there were 2 in the less than 5,000 population. So it's really difficult. And I've cold called people. I am serious. I have been on Google Earth being like, oh yeah, I think I could fit sidewalk in there. And I will call the Board of Education and be like, hey, you want me to connect your softball field to your school, or your baseball field or football field to your school? Or you would call the city, can I connect your senior center to your library with some sidewalk? Would you be interested in that? It could be free. They don't call you back. They just think you're crazy. And they're like, GDOT's not handing out money. I don't know who this chick is. She's clearly lost her mind. And then you email them, right? Because the call didn't work. Yeah, they ignore that too. It's hurtful. It hurts my feelings. I mean, it was such a pretty place to put sidewalk. Try it. I can't give this stuff away. So anyway, we laugh, but those are all facts. So it's been a struggle. We'll continue to figure it out. One thing that we wanted to do, another thing that will be different about every funding opportunity that GDOT does, is that it will no longer be for just that current fiscal year. No one runs a program that way, and neither can planning. We can't, oh, okay, well, we're going to spend this money this fiscal year and have no idea what 27, 28, 29 are going to look like until we do another call. And okay, now you can get your right-of-way phase, and we're not going to do that. And once you're approved for your project is approved for TA, you've been approved a project, not just a phase. So you don't have to reapply for right-of-way construction utilities like you used to. We will go ahead and add those into our fiscal year funding. We will go ahead and anticipate the needs that we have. So it'll be a lot different and hopefully a lot less stressful, because let me tell you, surprised I still have hair. I did dye it before I got here because these gray roots they was a lot of them. So that's planning for you. Yeah.
You touched on, kind of the idea of sometimes the applicants not having a great idea of what the actual costs were going to be when they applied. And I know it's pretty common for local governments to say, hey, we have this project we want to do. We're going to, apply concept through construction for whatever the grant may be. And it turns out, there are a lot of things that could have been figured out that would have given them a better idea of the cost or some of the public controversy or whatever the case may be. Is the program looking toward prioritizing, like doing scoping phases first, or how does a good scoping phase play into some of those challenges?
That's a good question. The question's about how we start out a TA project with since it comes from locals who don't understand the federal process, how much it costs or what it takes to do it, and they want sidewalks in these locations, you know, and then it winds up not being a good location for a federal project. That's a very good question. And it happens, more than you think. We had that. So looking at the needs for this particular city is Hogansville. They submitted one. It's probably a 12-foot, two-way road with ditches that goes right there at the edge of pavement. The back slope is like at a 1/2 to 1, and everything on top of it looks like it's historic, right? Put sidewalk in here, right? So that's a part of the review process. And so that conversation went similar to, hey, city folks, we got your application, and while we really, really, really want to help you, I'm not entirely sure we can do what you're asking to do. Are you willing to let us try? It doesn't cost you anything. We'll look at your roads, but I'm also going to ask our consultants to look at other roads, okay? You can't do Jonathan Avenue, okay? Well, do Joya Drive, do that one, you know, or does it work? You know, so we're going to try to work our way to a solution, try to work towards something. And if they understand more of the process and why we can't do what we do, you know, then hopefully we can explain it, you know. So we don't want to turn into the office of no, obviously. And yes, it is difficult. And that's largely what has happened, right? You applied, these young applied, especially safe routes to schools. We got a ton of schools, they all put in for it. And we got out there and we're like, you don't own this right away. Project's dead, killed right there. And then we just kept, it was no. So we definitely don't want to repeat the mistakes of the past, but those challenges are still there. So we work toward a yes, is I guess what I'm trying to say is, a lot of them submit more than one road. Hopefully I can get one or two. No. Yes, Sean. Hi.
If you're able to share, so federal funding disruptions, like, what is it that you've seen? Like, what are some of the challenges that you've seen, or maybe like see upcoming, in terms of, I mean, because that's coming, you're kind of the first line of defense, right, when it comes to some of that stuff?
I don't want to be. Can
I mean, is there, just like, maybe kind of from a overall program perspective thing, like, this is now, this is going to be a priority. Every administration has new priorities.
Right.
This is now the priority.
Yeah.
Versus this.
I don't know that I could tell you what the priority is. I could tell you mostly what isn't a priority. NEVI is no longer a priority. We, matter of fact, posted very publicly on our consultant needs that NEVI, we would not be moving forward with NEVI procurement. That is on hold. Congressional spending, you know, congressional directed spending, unless the agreement is currently signed and active, that is under review. Up until a couple of weeks ago, every environmental document, every tip amendment in the entire country had to go to the Office of General Counsel in Washington, D.C. And we went, oogie doogie. And they were like, oh, we're just kidding, because it's a lot. You know, I mean, but at the time we were like, oh my God, how are we going to get TIP documents approved? If we can't get the TIP updated, I can't let this project, you know, what projects are now in jeopardy, you know, and it's not, you know, again, politics aside, that affects everybody. And so when I meant Donald Trump had been spinning our heads, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. He's a little bit ready, fire, aim. And I'm the same way, so that I can call that, I can say that. I'm a little ready, fire, aim too. So, you know, some of this, and then somebody gets reeled back in. So he's figuring it out. I have no idea what's coming down. Things that we have wondered about are carbon reduction. And that's one of the fund sources we are questioning whether or not it will sustain this. And there's no telling how he'll bundle things. You know, maybe he redoes everything. I don't have a crystal ball, but when that happens, going back to that funding matrix, you go through and you update. If carbon reduction is changed and its criteria has changed, then all we have to do is change the criteria and it populates on that spreadsheet across all of those projects. Same thing for TA, same thing for CMAC. And so now I can still look at the entire program with just a small, quick change instead of shuffling the deck, re-looking through it again, hee-hawing around. I can't do it, Sean. It's too much work. It's driving me crazy. I can't, and my team can't do it. It's too many dumpster fires we have to chase. I don't like dumpster fires. Like, I can handle one or two, okay? I can't handle, a Donald Trump load. Again, no, politics aside, I'm picking because it's just been absolutely nuts for us. And I've never experienced this, so it's all very new to me. I've never really done any planning, so for me, it's whiplash for sure. Do I miss traffic? Of course I miss traffic. I don't miss sitting in it, but now I have to again. Mm-hmm. If only I knew somebody that could fix that. Put some express lanes on 400 or something, I don't know. Bus rapid transit, something, anything. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I did mention consultant help. We do need consultant help. We struggle in hiring and keeping people. I think everybody is facing that. So I think we are interested in seeing what knowledge is out there that could potentially come to the Office of Planning and help us out. We are not going to stop doing, obviously, studies of corridors and, all that. We're not going to stop with our plans, the statewide strategic plan, statewide, whatever other plan we have, NEVI, which is on a halt, but we have the carbon reduction strategy, Georgia Technology Blueprint, it's all kind of stuff. So we are looking for help just across the board. Planning is still growing and evolving. We're constantly shuffling what our needs are and how we're structured, just to see how we can better meet Janine's goals for us and get the day-to-day stuff done. So it's been a challenge. But we do put all of our stuff out on the same website that Albert puts his stuff out. So when it's out there, that's what we got. So that's about it in a nutshell. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to get in trouble.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
So what I learned is if Alan runs out of money, I have to go ask SueAnn for money. Okay, thanks everyone. And the next monthly meeting is April 17th, so we hope to see you there.